Hello and welcome back for another clarinet tutorial from Nottingham Music Excellence. So I'm going to play this A3 piece from the Grade 5 ABRSM book called Troubadour. A very light sort of classical piece of music, but quite quick. Not many places to breathe in here, so quite demanding. And after I've played the piece, I'm going to give you a short tutorial on the detail of the music and what you need to do to make this sound really professional. And then there's a chance for you to play along with the accompaniment all by yourself. And I have uploaded two different speeds. It's quite a challenging piece. So there's two different speeds for you to have a go at. So choose the one that suits you best. And I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Here we go. Okay, so you've heard the music. Let's say a few words about some of the details in here and what you need to do to make this sound really awesome. So first of all, let's just say a word about the difficulty. I think this is quite hard for grade 5. It sounds on the surface, you know, just a nice little light classical piece of music. It's got a nice kind of flow to the notes, but it's just one of those, what I might call typical ABRSM pieces that just kind of torture you slightly, doesn't it, this one? There just isn't anywhere to, I won't say there isn't anywhere to breathe, but you don't get a whole bar off in the whole piece. So the breathing aspect is quite tricky. And not just the breathing, but the tempo, it's marked at 92. And if you've downloaded the ABRSM version of it from the download tracks, it's just so quick. I mean, no grade 5 player is going to play it at that speed all the way through. It's just too fast. So I think 92, in my opinion, is going to be mostly unachievable for grade 5 players. I've recorded it a little bit steadier, but I think even at that tempo that I've recorded it, most players won't play it at that speed. So I've played it, I think, at around about 80. So I've uploaded a backing track that is at 80, I think, roughly where I played it. And then another one a bit slower still at around about 72. So I think between 72 and 80 is probably a bit more realistic for grade 5, given the difficulties with the breathing as well. So let's go over some of the detail then. So nice, jolly, classical little tune this, isn't it? So already we've got some kind of articulation detail to work on in there. Notice the the kind of the upbeat quaver with the slurring there. So it's da 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 da. So we're always kind of tonguing that note before the beat. So notice that I'm kind of giving slight prominence to the beat note, and then I'm kind of got a bit of a diminuendo on quaver number 2, if you like, off the beat. So you get that da 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 da, and it creates some you know, it gives the music some detail and creates some rhythmic interest in there too. And that actually goes all the way through the piece, doesn't it? There's a lot of that goes on. So I think make sure you spend some time getting that phrasing right. Don't just sort of slur it all or tongue it all or just let it pass over you. I think it really does need that detail in there. And moving on to the 4th line, here we've got a bit more of a standard kind of what you might say slurring and tonguing. Slur 2 tongue one there, a bit more common. And I think with the tonguing on this, you want to kind of make it a little bit sort of light and jolly and happy, don't you? Not too sort of, you know, not too sort of clumsy sounding. But, you know, keep it light. So I think if you're tonguing those quavers, they're not quite, it just sounds a little bit better if they're not quite completely full length. So just tongued with a bit of bounce. Let's move down a bit. So this is the tricky bit, I think, here. It gets a little bit more serious in the nature of the music, doesn't it? So we've got that rin sforzando. Now it's marked on the music for, depending on what speed you play it at, you might add another little, you might get an extra movement up and down. You might get, I think I went for that on my performance. I tried to kind of do like 4, what would we say it was, hemi-demi semiquavers or demi semiquavers. So instead of, which doesn't really sound like a trill, you might, depending on the speed you're playing it at, I'm just kind of doing that with my left hand C key there. You might have time to do that. If not, just play it as what they've decided there, as what they've suggested. And just a word about the breathing here as well through this section. Bars 32 and 34, where you've got that dotted crotchet tied to the quaver, I think use that tie to just find a place to breathe. It will just help you out a little bit. So effectively the quaver, the tied quaver, is not kind of going to exist. So just you're kind of going to use that place for a breath. And again on the next one, on the B flat, doesn't sound like I need it now, but when you play through the music and you've gone from the beginning, that is quite helpful. So if I go, and then you might just have half a chance of getting through to that tune without collapsing in a heap on the floor. So hopefully you should be able to then get through to 39, 40, 41. So if you can get through to 41 to the 5th quaver. So hopefully you should be able to get to there, and then you've got that kind of phrasing come back from the opening theme again. So I think those 2 points where you steal that time from the tie are really critical. Try it and see if that works for you, but I think that's a good way to get you through into the tune again. As I say, you just don't get any time off, so how else are you going to do it? And then we have a slightly more, what you might call like a more serious sort of moment in the music again. And some ornamentation there as well. So remember that the grace notes are played before the beat. But the next note, the acciaccatura, is on the beat, crushed on the beat. Just a subtle difference between those two. And then we get back on the tune again, and also again without any bars off. We just go straight back into the tune again. Now, by the time you get to here, you're probably thinking, you're probably feeling quite uncomfortable. I know I was a little bit. You know, I hate these pieces where you just don't get any time off. It reminds me of a piece that I played for grade 7 in the previous syllabus, Sonata in 10 by Lefebvre, I think it was, and that piece just killed me every time I played it. It was 4 pages long, and not even, I don't think there was even a rest in the whole piece. I honestly felt like I was going to have a cardiac arrest every time I played that piece. But this piece isn't quite as bad as that. It's 2 pages, but you'll notice by the end of this piece, you'll be like, you know, it'll feel, you'll be feeling a bit uncomfortable for sure. I'm pretty sure of it. So I think because the breathing is an issue in this piece, I think you're going to have to try out the breathing and then mark it on the music. Don't leave it to chance, whatever you do. You really need to plan this one out, because again, when you go into an exam situation and you're going to be a bit nervous and, you know, all that kind of thing, if you haven't got a breathing plan, the whole thing, you know, might just go right out the window. And you'll end up breathing in really random places, and by the end of the piece, you'll be in agony. So don't leave the breathing to chance on this one. Mark it all in. Unfortunately, to try that out, you probably have to keep practicing going from the beginning and see if you can get through to the end of the piece. It's one of those pieces. Anyway, so moving on to the backing track. As I say, I have uploaded 2 versions of the backing track. I suspect the steady version that is around 72 will probably suit most players. I don't think even the 80 or the 92 will, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. You know, if you've recorded yourself playing it at 92, then please do let me know and send me a link or something. I'd love to hear you play it. So that's it, I think. So over to the backing tracks. Have fun with that, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.